Welcome to YouTube channel Book Review. Please subscribe, press the bell, put a fat like so as not to miss even more interesting reviews in the future. And now let's go. Summary. The novel, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, by Rowling was written in 1997. Chapter 1. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley prided themselves on the fact that they considered themselves completely normal people, and were very disapproving of any oddities, riddles and other nonsense. They raised their son Dudley, who was doted on. Mrs. Dursley had a sister she wanted to forget existed. The sister and her husband were wizards who died at the hands of the evil magician Voldemort, leaving their one-year-old son Harry orphaned. When Voldemort tried to kill Harry Potter, his strength suddenly ran out, and he disappeared. In memory of this, only a strange cut similar to lightning remained on the boy's forehead. This scar will remain with him for life. Professor Dumbledore, the headmaster of Hogwarts School of Magic, decided to leave Harry in the Dursley family, his only relatives. Chapter 2. Disappearing glass. 10 years have passed since then. Harry's life in his aunt's house was not sweet at all. The boy lived in a closet under the stairs and never heard a kind word addressed to him. Harry looked smaller and weaker than his peers. He was short, thin, with a narrow face, black hair and bright green eyes. He wore round spectacles sealed with duct tape and wore out his clothes after his cousin, the spoiled fat Dudley. Harry thought, Dudley looked like a pig in a wig. It was Dudley's birthday that day, and the Dursleys had to take Harry to the zoo along with their son and his friend. In the terrarium, Harry saw a huge python and, to his surprise, realized that he could communicate with him. Suddenly, the glass in the terrarium disappeared, a python crawled out of it, and, thanking the dumbfounded Harry, went to his homeland, to Brazil. Deciding that Harry was to blame for everything, the Dursleys punished the boy. Chapter 3. Suddenly, a letter came to Harry's name, but Mr. Dursley did not let the boy read it. The next day a second letter arrived, but it was also destroyed. Someone persistently sent correspondence to Harry, and Mr. Dursley even tried to hide with his family. But everywhere he invariably received letters addressed to his nephew. Mr. Dursley took the family to an old cabin on a cliff in the middle of the sea. Chapter 4. At midnight. On Harry's 11th birthday, the giant Hagrid, caretaker and keeper of the keys of Hogwarts, appeared in the hut. He personally handed the boy a big sticky chocolate cake and a letter. From Hagrid, the stunned boy learned that his parents and he himself were wizards. The letter said that Harry Potter has been granted a place at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. The giant also gave him an owl, real, lively and a little disheveled, which served as a postman. Chapter 5. The next day, Hagrid and Harry went to London to buy stuff for school. The first thing they did was visit Gringotts Bank, which was deep underground under the reliable protection of creepy goblins. It turned out that Harry's parents left a fortune. With the help of Hagrid, he purchased in a special shop all the necessary accessories for the young wizard, including a magic wand. Chapter 6. On the day of departure, Harry was very excited. With a huge suitcase and a cage in which Hedwig was sitting, the boy unsuccessfully tried to find platform number 9 3/4. Harry did his best not to panic, but there were more students from Hogwarts at the station, who explained to the newcomer how to get on the magic train. Harry met the red-haired Ron Weasley, who was also going to Hogwarts for the first time. The boys quickly became friends, and already on the train they felt a strong dislike for the arrogant Draco Malfoy and the boor Hermione Granger. Read more. https://obrazovaka.ru/books/Rowling/Garry-Potter-I-Filosofsky- Carmen Chapter 7. Sorting Hat at Hogwarts School. Professor McGonagall took care of the arriving freshmen. She explained to the newcomers that from now on they will study together, sleep in the same bedroom and spend their free time in a room specially designated for your faculty. Before the banquet, future wizards had to be selected for one of 4 faculties: Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw and Slytherin, each of which had its own ancient history. It was the Magic Hat who sorted the houses. And after some deliberation, she sent Harry to Gryffindor, along with Ron and Hermione. Chapter 8. In the early days of his studies, Harry was relieved to be convinced that he was no worse than others. It was difficult to study, but very interesting. Potions lessons were taught by Professor Snape. And Harry immediately felt that he, for some reason, disliked him at first sight. In his lessons, the professor humiliated Harry in every possible way, put him in an awkward position in front of other students. Potter was very upset. He earned 2 penalty points the first week of his stay at school, and all because Snape for some reason hated him, but why, he could not understand. Chapter 9. Between Harry and Malfoy there has been a real confrontation. It intensified during the lesson on learning to fly on a broomstick. Malfoy provoked Harry in every possible way so that he would be punished. However, the young wizard demonstrated amazing skill with a broom and was enrolled as a seeker in the Gryffindor Quidditch team. Harry, Ron and Hermione stayed out of the bedroom at the wrong time. For such an offense they could easily be expelled from school. In one of the rooms, the guys found a giant dog that had 3 heads, 3 pairs of revolving crazy eyes, 3 noses. Harry remembered that on his birthday, when he received his parents' money, and Hagrid took a certain mysterious package from the safe, an attempt was made to rob a bank. The boy realized that the ferocious dog was the guardian of this bundle. Chapter 10. The next morning, Harry told Ron about the package. And they wondered what could possibly need such a heavy guard. Hermione was an excellent student in all subjects, and this annoyed Ron very much. He offended the girl, saying that someone like her could not have friends. Hermione was crying in the bathroom when it became known that a troll had appeared at the school from nowhere. Students began to urgently evacuate. But Ron and Harry went to help the girl, at the risk of themselves. They attacked the 4-meter troll and defeated him. From that moment Hermione Granger became their friend. Chapter 11. Harry let Hermione in on the secret of the package. When he accidentally saw a wound on Professor Snape's leg, he realized that he wanted to capture this ill-fated bundle. It was Snape who let the troll into the castle to divert attention and sow panic. And he unsuccessfully tried to get into the room with a giant dog. Harry soon had a chance to get revenge on the arrogant Malfoy at a Quidditch game. Already during the first match, someone tried to throw Harry off the broom, but he still managed to catch the ball and bring victory to Gryffindor. Discussing what happened, the guys came to the conclusion that Professor Snape wanted to kill Potter. Chapter 12. With the approach of Christmas, all the schoolchildren were looking forward to the holidays and could no longer think of anything else. It was very cold at school, and the students dreamed of quickly dispersing to their warm, cozy homes, while Harry and Ron decided to stay at school. As a gift, Harry received an invisibility cloak that had previously belonged to his father. In a conversation about a mysterious bundle, the giant Hagrid accidentally misspoke and said the name of an unknown magician. Harry decided to use the invisibility cloak to sneak into the special section of the library and find out who the magician Nicholas Flamel was. But this plan failed. As soon as he opened the tome, a heart-rending cry cut through the silence, from which the blood ran cold. It was the book screaming. Hiding from persecution, Harry found himself in an abandoned room where a mirror hung. In it he saw his parents. It turned out that it was the mirror of Ainulej, which showed the most secret, most desperate desires. Chapter 13 Nicholas Flamel classes began. Hermione returned to school, and together the friends continued to search for information about the mysterious Flamel. Soon luck smiled at them, and the guys learned that Nicholas Flamel is the only known creator of the Philosopher's Stone. The Philosopher's Stone was a legendary substance with which one could prepare the elixir of life and become immortal. Now it was clear what was in the package and what Professor Snape was so persistently hunting for. Chapter 14 The final exams were approaching, and the teachers literally overwhelmed the students with homework. While preparing for the exams, friends accidentally learned that Hagrid had a dragon egg, and he intended to raise a dragon. Although this was strictly forbidden. Soon Malfoy also became aware of the existence of the dragon. Hagrid became attached with all his heart to his pet, whom he named Norbert. However, it was dangerous to leave the dragon at Hogwarts, and the friends decided to transfer it to Romania, Ron's older brother, who studied dragons. To make the transfer of the dragon go unnoticed, it was decided to do it at midnight, on the highest tower of the school. Before this event, Norbert bit Ron on the hand, and the boy had to be sent to the hospital. Putting on the invisibility cloak, Harry and Hermione safely delivered the box with the dragon to the roof and handed it over to the messengers. That same night, Malfoy was caught in the castle, who wanted to interfere with his friends and was punished for it. However, Hermione and Harry were also caught in the school corridor at night. They completely forgot that the invisibility cloak was left on the roof. Chapter 15 Professor McGonagall was very angry. She had no doubt that Harry had made up the dragon story on purpose to provoke Malfoy into breaking the rules. As a result, the whole Trinity received a punishment, to spend the night in the Forbidden Forest. In addition, points were deducted from their faculties. Now Gryffindor will not be able to become the leader of the year. As a result, Harry, who yesterday was the most popular student, in an instant turned into the most despised and hated. The children were taken to the Forbidden Forest by Hagrid, who served as a forester. He said that someone began to hunt unicorns, and it was necessary to catch the criminal. Soon the company stumbled upon a dead unicorn, from the body of which the killer, dressed in a black hoodie, drank blood. Suddenly, Harry felt a severe headache. It seemed that the scar on his forehead broke into a bright flame. Then a centaur appeared and hurried to take the boy out of the forest, saying that it was dangerous for him to be here. The centaur told the boy that killing a unicorn is considered a monstrous crime, and only one who has nothing to lose and who strives for complete victory can commit it. Hearing these words, Harry decided that it was about Voldemort, the killer of his parents. Chapter 16 After walking through the forest, Harry began to constantly hurt the scar on his forehead. In a conversation with friends, the giant Hagrid blurted out the secret of how to calm down a huge dog who was guarding a scroll with a philosopher's stone. Just sing to him, or play a little flute, or some other instrument, and he will fall asleep right away. The children wanted to tell Headmaster Dumbledore about everything, but he, unfortunately, left on urgent business. In desperation, Harry decided to take possession of the Philosopher's Stone before the insidious Snape, because, if Snape steals the stone, Voldemort will return, and will surely destroy Hogwarts. The friends went to the secret door to euthanize the three-headed dog. Harry began to play the flute, and, at the first sound, all 6 of Fluffy's eyes began to close. Having found a hatch in the room, the friends jumped into it and ended up in a dark underground corridor. Having passed difficult trials, friends are faced with a difficult choice. Only one of them can reach the end. Harry decided to take the hit himself, and sent Ron and Hermione to call for help. Chapter 17. To his great surprise, Harry found not Snape in the last room, but Professor Quirrell, the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. It turned out that all this time it was he, and not Professor Snape, who had been trying to kill Harry. On the back of Quirrell's head was the face of his master, Voldemort, which the professor hid under a turban. It was the scariest face Harry had ever seen. It was dead white, with narrow slits instead of nostrils, like those of a snake. But the worst of all were the eyes, bright red and ferocious. In the mirror of Erenage, which stood in the hall, Harry saw that he was putting the Philosopher's Stone in his pocket. At the same time, Harry realized that the stone, by some miracle, was in his pocket for real. Voldemort, with the help of Quirrell, tried to take the stone away from Harry, but was severely burned. During a fierce battle, the boy lost consciousness. When Harry came to his senses, he learned that Headmaster Dumbledore had come to his rescue. He said that he destroyed the Philosopher's Stone so that he would no longer tempt the villains. Voldemort, since he was not a living being in the full sense of the word, could not be destroyed, and the dark magician went in search of a new body. Quirrell, on the other hand, could not defeat Harry. Because he was reliably protected by his mother's love. If you are so deeply loved, then even when the person who loves you dies, you still remain under his protection. Harry was also surprised to learn that once upon a time, Professor Snape had a strong dislike for his father, just like he had for Malfoy. But one day, Harry's father saved him, and Snape did everything possible to save Harry himself from Quirrell's witchcraft. Harry and Ron received good grades, and Hermione, of course, became the best student. Thanks to the amazing courage of friends, the Gryffindor faculty scored a large number of points, becoming the leader of the year. The ending good invariably triumphs over evil, even if there seems to be no hope for the best. The work teaches friendship, fidelity, decency. Teaches never to give up and believe in one's own strength. After reading the brief retelling of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, we recommend that you read the work in its full version. Thank you for watching. Write in the comments what review you want to hear.